The Final Four, Chapter 1, Malcolm McBride. Each chapter in the Final Four book is going to focus on one player, and you'll always know that because that will be the title of the chapter. So for Chapter 1, this is going to focus on Malcolm McBride, who plays for Michigan State Spartans. 7:18 p.m. The Goodyear blimp isn't as pumped up as Malcolm, standing inside the Michigan State huddle. If it were, it would be providing a national TV audience with a video feed from the surface of Mars right now, instead of an aerial view of the Superdome. Coach Barker, who sports a middle-aged paunch and stands almost a head shorter than Malcolm, is the focus of the Spartans' attention. "Seize on the moment Malcolm just gave us," Coach Barker preaches to his players in a strained and raspy voice. "That shot he made destroyed them. Believe me, they're deflated. They'll be dragged out there. They don't have the heart or the stomach for this kind of pressure. We do." The players standing closest to Malcolm, Grizzly Bear Cousins and Baby Bear Wilkins, each drape an arm across his shoulders. Malcolm feels their weight as they try to lift themselves and overcome their exhaustion. "They're tired, we're not. Stay tough on defense, but watch," Barker says over the crowd noise before his voice finally falters. Malcolm raises his head from the huddle, gazing into the packed stands. Sitting 9 rows behind the Michigan State bench are his parents. His mama, a lunchroom worker in a Detroit elementary school, is cheering wildly. Though Malcolm can't hear her over the crowd, he reads her lips mouthing, "Go, son, go!" Malcolm's father is much more reserved. He claps his calloused hands, nodding his head beneath a cap that reads "Built Tough," the motto of the car company that released him after 23 years on their assembly line. Coach Barker sticks a hand out into the middle of the huddle, and his players quickly pile theirs on top. Barker punishes his vocal cords to get out a single word, "Victory!" In unison, the players repeat it, breaking the huddle. Then Malcolm gives some instructions of his own. "Grizz, I want you to knock that Red Bull dude senseless with a hard screen. I can't have him hawking me everywhere without consequences." "Done," says Grizzly, through the growing shadow of a sandpaper beard. "Leave it to me, I've got fouls to burn," says Baby Bear. "I'll knock that Euro boy's dome clean off." Grizzly, a mountain of a senior, is one of the biggest centers in all of college basketball, and his immense size is the only reason the smaller 6'9", 260-pound Juan Wilkins could ever be referred to as Baby Bear. All year long, the pair have growled over Malcolm, a freshman barking out orders. But with the Spartans' entire season now resting on Malcolm's ability to score, Grizzly and Baby Bear apparently decide to put their pride aside. Nearing the end of regulation, a pair of pivotal Michigan State players have fouled out of the game, so Barker now points to Michael Jordan, who removes his warm-up top and gets ready to take the floor. This isn't the Michael Jordan who won the NCAA championship with North Carolina, 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls, and 2 Olympic gold medals. Not Air Jordan, with his Jumpman silhouette on his own brand of basketball shoes. No, this is the junior bench warmer of the same name, whose jump shot sometimes makes it look like he's applying for work as a bricklayer. "Hey, NJ, play like the man you're named after, not like you usually do," demands Malcolm, tugging him in close with a firm grip on the waistband of his shorts. "That means don't screw things up. Just get the rock to me." "I hear you loud and clear," answers MJ in an unsettled voice. "No heroics, just steady play. I've got it." Before he walks onto the court for overtime, Malcolm's piercing brown eyes settle on a girl in the Michigan State Band. He hears the pounding rhythm of her snare and watches the drumsticks in her hands moving faster and faster until they become a blur. August 2 years and 7 months ago. So normally it'll give us a little clip of the game in each chapter, and then there'll be a flashback in a character's life. And so this is a flashback of Malcolm's life to about 2 years and 7 months ago. The mercury had hit 96 degrees that sweltering summer day, and the sun baked the red brick of the Brewster Douglas houses. It was nearly 5:30 in the afternoon as Malcolm headed home from the asphalt courts, bare-chested with the sweat-soaked T-shirt dangling from a belt loop on his cutoffs. He pounded a basketball against the concrete in rhythm to his steps. Right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, left-handed. The heat from the sidewalk came up through the bottoms of his kicks until the soles of Malcolm's feet felt like they were on fire. "Hey, Malk," called a voice from a circle of teens on the opposite corner in the shadow of a liquor store on St. Antoinette Street, one where a sheet of bulletproof glass separated the customers from the guy at the register. "It's too hot to be ballin'. Come chill with us." They were dudes who Malcolm was tight with from his hood in school, mostly dressed in tank tops, shorts, and sneakers with no socks. And there were 2 open 40-ounce beers on the ground beside them, on either side of a metal pole from a parking meter. They were hanging out, looking for a good time. But there was a pair of guys with them, wearing heavy cargo pants with more pockets than you could count. Those dudes were doing business. Malcolm threw a hand up to wave. "My mama's birthday's dinner tonight," he hollered back without breaking his stride. "I gotta go." "Don't party too hard with the old folks." Malcolm wasn't an angel. He'd been involved in his share of drama during his first 2 years of high school. He went a junior year, to be different, though. He'd been suspended for fighting the semester before, and after a beef he had on the basketball court carried over into a classroom. And his father had to pick him up once at the station house when a cop nabbed him on the street for underage drinking. But Malcolm didn't have any real interest in watching other kids screw around, drink, or get high. He'd seen too many sweeps by the Detroit PD who'd bust anyone within 50 feet of dudes dealing drugs. So Malcolm didn't even cross over to the other side of the street. We learn a little bit about Malcolm here. He's on his way home, and some guys that he knows call him over to hang out. They're drinking. He sees some other guys there, and he knows that they're dealing drugs. And Malcolm says, "Hey, gotta go home." Okay, so he doesn't want anything to do with that lifestyle. He knows that not many people make it out of the area where he is from in Detroit, but he is determined to, and in order to do that, he has to stay out of trouble. He got in a little bit of trouble a year or two ago, but he's done with that, and he's completely focused on his basketball career. A half block later, Malcolm passed another group of guys camped out around a bench. They were a little older and more serious about business. Malcolm recognized them too, only this time they weren't any greetings, just an exchange of hard looks. At the edge of the 4 identical 14-story project buildings, younger kids were splashing in the spray from an open hydrant. Nearby, middle school girls were spinning ropes, making their own cool breeze. They were jumping double dutch, popping out rhymes. "Call the Army, call the Navy, Maya's gonna have a baby. Wrap it up in tissue paper, send it down the elevator. Boy, girl, twins, triplets, boy, girl, twins, triplets." Without noticing, Malcolm had changed the rhythm of his dribble to match their cadence. Over it all was the sound of rap, hip-hop, and R&B mixed together, filtering through the air. Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross, 2 of his mama's favorite singers, grew up in these projects. Malcolm knew that it was the music she'd want to hear at her birthday dinner, and he was already thinking about putting on the CD of Smokey's "My Girl" just to hear his father sing to her. "Talking about my girl, my girl." As Malcolm started for Building 302, his sister, Tricia, came bounding through the front doors and headed down the concrete path towards him. She was dressed in a gray t-shirt that read MLK Crusades Marching Band, with 5 interlocking rings beneath. "Think fast, sis," said Malcolm, sending her a chest-high pass. Tricia was going to be a senior in September at Martin Luther King High School, where Malcolm was about to be a junior. "What, you think ballers are the only ones with quick hands?" Tricia shot back after cushioning the ball to a stop between her fingertips and palms. "Just remember who was the first McBride to play in front of a packed stadium. Me." The summer before, she'd taken her snare drum and gone with the band to perform at the Olympics in Beijing. They were one of 100 high school bands invited from around the world. Tricia even played on the Great Wall of China and toured the Forbidden City, where Chinese emperors once lived. The school raised $300,000 in donations to make it happen. Plenty of people from the projects who couldn't afford to donate $5 or $10 out of pride to see teens from their neighborhood do something like that. When she got back home, the first question Malcolm had asked her was about how good the Chinese food was over there. He was disappointed as anything to find out that Tricia hadn't seen any fried rice, egg rolls, or spare ribs on the whole 2-week trip. Instead, she ate dumplings, roast duck, and baby octopus. "Dinner's all ready. I made meatloaf. It's in the oven, just needs to be heated up," said Tricia. "Here's your job. Set the table after you shower and sign Mama's birthday card. And I don't mean just print your name. Write something nice in it and make sure you use the word love." "Here's your job," Malcolm parroted to her. "Where are you going?" "I'm doing a favor for Ramona, watching little Shasha in the water while she goes to the store." Ramona had been Tricia's best friend since grade school. When Ramona got pregnant at 15, Malcolm's parents put Tricia under lock and key for a while. But so far, Tricia still seemed to have more interest in school and band practice than running around with boys. "I'll be back in about a half hour. Now take a gut check," Tricia said, shoving the ball hard into Malcolm's stomach. A breath of air popped out of his lungs on impact. "Lucky you're female or I'd knock you flat with the next pass." "You just make sure Mama keeps out the kitchen while I'm gone," Tricia said from over her shoulder, walking away. "I don't want her waiting on you or Daddy, not on her B-day." "Yeah, well, I'm not your slave either," said Malcolm. "I see that you're doing favors for other people puts more work on me." "Deal with it, baby bro," she called out, without even looking back. "It's not always about you." At a single leap, Malcolm took the 3 steps leading up to the building's entrance. Going through those double glass doors was like walking into a furnace, with the air inside almost too thick and heavy to breathe. He draped his t-shirt across the back of his neck and hit the buzzer to apartment 1204. "Who's there?" asked his mama over the intercom. It was the last time Malcolm would hear her voice, that carefree. "Me, Mama," he answered. Malcolm felt the returning buzz in his hand and heard the lock click as he grabbed the burning hot door handle. Inside, his eyes scanned the rows of mailboxes built into the wall and the new bulletin board postings. "Earn $50K a year working from home. Lose 40 pounds first month, no exercise. Saturday night house party with DJ Scribe. Reduce hypertension now." Then Malcolm rode an elevator alone to the 12th floor. On the way up, he dribbled the ball 1 time, and the harsh echo off the metal walls pounded back at his eardrums. When the elevator doors opened, Malcolm heard a growing commotion in the hall. From around the bend, there was a loud banging on a door and snippets of panicked voices. Those were gunshots. "A drive-by, I think. Hurt. Shot. Oh, God, no, let me be wrong." So we hear this little snippet of Malcolm's past. Remember, this is taking place about 2 years and 7 months before that Final Four game. We're introduced to his sister, and we learn that Malcolm's not the only overachiever or high achiever in his family, that Trisha has gotten to go with her high school band to China and perform at the Olympics. And so both of these siblings really strive to better themselves and get out of the projects. And we learn that they have like a good rapport with one another, just like siblings mainly do, giving each other a hard time. And Trisha is headed outside to watch her friend's little child while her friend runs to the store. Malcolm's going upstairs to get ready for his mom's birthday dinner. And so once he rides the elevator up to their apartment, or before he rides the elevator up to their apartment, his mom buzzes him into the building, and it says, it was the last time Malcolm would hear her voice that carefree. So we kind of have a foreshadowing here that something bad's going to happen. Malcolm rides the elevator up to his apartment, and when he gets off, there's people in the hallway talking about that they heard gunshots outside, and then the chapter ends. So we're not sure exactly what happened.